Welcome to Bible Talk Insight.
Great to be here.
Today, we're stepping into a really powerful narrative, looking at two, giants of faith, Caleb and Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal, really, is to understand what genuine discipleship looks like, especially when it's tested.
And not just by hardship, right? But by things like fear, maybe even entitlement, and just the sheer length of the journey God puts us on.
Exactly. It feels foundational for anyone looking to grow spiritually.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Hebrews 13, verse 7, it tells us straight up, imitate the faith of your leaders.
Not just what they did, but the faith behind it.
Precisely. The core conviction. And, this isn't just an ancient idea. It holds true all through history.
That's a great point. You think about modern examples like Martin Luther King Jr. drawing strength from Gandhi.
Or even someone like Margaret Thatcher looking at historical precedents for, strong leadership. Examples matter.
They really do. So today, we're analyzing the insights from the Bible and Bible scholars to pull out that deep knowledge from Caleb and Joshua's lives.
And the big questions are, how did Caleb get that different spirit everyone talks about?
Yeah, and what does Joshua show us about real humility, true service?
Okay, well, we probably have to start where that spirit really showed itself first, which was, interestingly, in the face of, total failure.
Right, the crisis in numbers.
Now let's unpack that.
Okay, let's go back. They're on the border of Canaan. The 12 spies return.
And 10 of them. Disaster.
All they see are obstacles. Giants, these huge fortified cities.
And the tragic part is what they do with that information. They take God's incredible promises
And just filter them completely through fear. Debilitating fear.
Yeah, and fear doesn't just stop you, does it? It actually twists how you see things. It reinterprets reality.
So they focus only on why it was impossible.
Right. They didn't say the land wasn't good. They admitted that. But they basically said the obstacles were bigger than God's promise. And what's really fascinating, or maybe terrifying, is how contagious that is. When leaders, or even just the majority, step off that path of faith, it's almost irresistible for others. Their fear turned God's guaranteed victory into this scary monster for everyone.
But then there were Caleb and Joshua, the exceptions.
The critical exceptions. They stood firm, gave a totally different report, a positive one.
They said the land was amazing, and if God was with them, he'd give it to them. Simple as that.
And this wasn't just, a polite disagreement. This was raw courage.
Under fire, literally. The crowd was talking about stoning them.
Yeah, the whole congregation gripped by panic. And these two guys, they stand against thousands. They don't back down.
They even tore their clothes.
Which was, back then, a powerful sign of deep distress, of mourning. But they weren't mourning the giants.
They were mourning Israel's unbelief.
Exactly. They saw the real danger wasn't the Anakim, it was doubting God.
And God noticed. He recognized that commitment.
He did. He affirmed that Caleb specifically had a different spirit, and that he wholly followed the Lord my God. We see that phrase pop up later in Joshua too.
So what is that different spirit? What does it look like day to day?
Well, the Bible and Bible scholars often connect it to what Paul talks about in 2 Timothy. A spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control.
Okay. Power, love, self-control, not fear.
Right. It's the spirit that lets you stand up for what's true, even if you're basically alone.
And it protects the community too, you were saying.
In a way, yes. It acts like spiritual protection because it keeps the door open to what God wants to do. It stops everyone from just abandoning the mission entirely because of fear. It's that deep conviction. God's view matters more than how hard things look.
That initial courage, then, it really set the course for the next, 40 years?
45, actually, by the time he gets his inheritance.
What?
40 wandering plus years of conquest.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. That conviction, it didn't fade. Even after wandering in the desert for decades.
Paying the price for everyone else's mistake.
Right. Think about that endurance. Caleb had to wait so long.
He was a genuine pioneer, waiting all that time. And when he finally stands before Joshua, he's 85 years old.
85.
And the sources are clear, his strength, his vigor, it was still there. He says he's still ready for war.
He didn't complain about the lost years.
Or
feel entitled.
Not a bit. It seems he used that time to highlight God's faithfulness, not his own delayed reward. No sense of, I'm owed this.
And then his request, at 85. It wasn't for, the corner office with a view.
No, definitely not the retirement package. He didn't ask for the easy plot, the nice vineyards someone else already cleared.
That's the key, isn't it?
It really is. He asks for the tough assignment, the hill country, where the Anakim...
The same giants that scared the previous generation.
Exactly. Where they still lived. He asks for that place, boldly saying, perhaps the Lord will be with me and I shall drive them out.
Not just ambition then, it sounds like. Spiritual warfare on a map.
That's a good way to put it. And you can see why the Bible and Bible scholars focus on this moment. His motivation seems purely about setting an example.
Not personal glory.
Doesn't seem like it. More like he knew if he, the old respected leader, took on the hardest fight, well, that would inspire the other tribes, give them the courage they needed to finish the job, to really subdue the whole land.
He aimed high to honor God. Show the next generation. See?
Yep.
Giants can be beaten.
Precisely. Caleb's life is this amazing picture of faithful cooperation needing human initiative. God acts, yes, but we have to step out, anchored in his promises.
You go for the mountain, believing God's already given you the strength.
Right. And he wasn't relying on his own 85-year-old strength alone. He was drawing on the strength he'd maintained because he'd, as the text says, wholly followed the Lord.
Okay, so Caleb gives us this model of bold initiative, unwavering faith over decades. How does Joshua fit in? How does he complete the picture?
Because Joshua's the big leader now, right? Commander-in-chief, led the whole conquest, defeated dozens of kings.
You'd expect him to take the prime real estate first, the spoils of war.
And that's where we see this beautiful complementary model. Humble patience. Joshua, despite being the top dog, Moses' successor, the military hero, he waits.
Waits for what?
He waits until every single tribe, down to the families, gets their allotted inheritance. Then, quietly, he accepts his own portion.
Wow. He put the community's needs completely first, before his own status, his own comfort.
Totally. Served everyone else before serving himself.
So he literally got the leftovers. What was his territory called again?
Timnath-Serah.
Yeah.
And the name itself is just...
Why? What does it mean?
Well, Timnath seems to mean portion or territory. Pretty standard. But Sarah, it means leftover, remaining part.
No way. The leftover portion.
That's what it suggests. The great conquering general was content with what seems to have been a modest, maybe even ruined city. The last piece handed out.
That level of humility.
Yeah.
Especially in a leader who had achieved so much. It's stunning.
It really is. It just underscores his dedication to the people, not to personal gain or riches. He wasn't about building his own legacy or getting comfortable.
He served last.
He served last. And if you want to connect it to the bigger picture, Joshua's name, Yehoshua.
Same root as Jesus.
Exactly, Yehoshua. So Joshua acts as this powerful, almost prophetic forerunner of Christ, the ultimate servant leader.
So his story illustrates that kingdom principle. We get in, not by grabbing the best seats, but by humble service.
And by being content, faithfully content, with whatever place, whatever portion God gives us.
Okay, so we have these incredible human examples. Caleb, bold faith, action. Joshua, quiet humility, service. But where do we ultimately look?
That's the crucial step. As amazing as Caleb and Joshua are, as much as they inspire us, Jesus Christ is the highest model. Always his life, his teachings, that's our ultimate focus.
They could only follow fully because they were looking towards God.
That's the idea. They reflected a greater light, and that's the transformation we need too.
The Bible and Bible scholars point to this process of change, right? Being transformed into Christ's image.
By beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord. That's 2 Corinthians 3.12.
Beholding. It sounds passive, but it isn't, is it?
Not at all. Gaining that transformative knowledge, it takes effort. Earnest study, really digging into Scripture, close investigation.
So abstract ideas like God's love, his power, they become real when we see them worked out.
Yes, through his works in nature, absolutely. But especially through studying the Scriptures, we have to intentionally, as Hebrews 12 says, fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.
It's an active looking, an engagement that changes us from the inside out.
Exactly. It reshapes the heart.
So wrapping this up for today, what does this all mean for us right now? How do we apply these lessons from Caleb, Joshua, and ultimately Jesus?
Well, the way we possess the kingdom today, it's not about conquering literal land or demanding worldly stuff.
It's about running the spiritual race.
Running that race with our eyes locked onto Christ, allowing him to transform us into his likeness.
So true kingdom living is about offering our whole lives daily.
Offering our lives in daily worship and consciously laying aside every weight, every hindrance that slows us down on that race.
That call to daily discipleship.
Yeah.
It's so clear in Romans 12, isn't it? Presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice
Holy, acceptable to God.
and actively not being conformed to the patterns of this world.
That, Paul says, is our reasonable service, our logical act of worship.
Which brings up that big question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Are we actually living like that daily
Yeah.
in that spirit of sacrifice and renewal?
Yeah, are you really presenting yourself each day? And here's maybe a final thought, something provocative to chew on this week.
Okay.
How is value measured in heaven? The Bible and Bible scholars suggest it's not by the wealth you gathered or the territory you controlled,
Bye-bye.
but by your heart's capacity to know God. Because that knowledge, that deep, intimate knowledge, that's the spring. That's where all the power for true, selfless service comes from.
Wow. That really shifts the perspective.
It does.
Well, we really hope this Bible Talk Insight has inspired you, maybe educated you a bit, and ultimately drawn you closer to Jesus Christ. We hope it encourages you to think about your own path of discipleship.
And if this discussion did connect with you, if it helped deepen your understanding, could we ask you to subscribe to this channel?
Yes. And maybe share this Bible Talk Insight with someone you know who could use some encouragement today.
We're committed to inspiring and educating, drawing people to Jesus, but we honestly can't keep doing it without your support.
You can also find more encouragement and jump into the conversation any day by connecting with us on Facebook. Just search for Bible Talk Insight.
And please don't forget about our bonus and supplemental episodes. They're available right here on the channel and podcast feed if you want to go even deeper into the study of the scriptures.
So until next time, may you follow fully like Caleb did.
And serve humbly, just like Joshua.